If your money could talk, would it say you crushed it this year or you just barely survived? As we wrap up the year, it's the perfect time to hit pause and reflect on your financial wins, your money mistakes, and everything in between. In this episode, we're doing a full end of year financial review so you can stop winging it and start building a money game plan that actually works. We'll break down what you should be looking at, how to assess your progress, and exactly how to set smarter financial goals for the new year. Whether you're trying to get out of debt, grow your income, or just stop feeling broke after payday, this episode is your reset button. Let's get into it.
Sugar Daddy Podcast, yo. Learn how to make them pockets grow. Financial freedom's where we go. Smart investments, money flow.
Hey, babe, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about reflecting on our 2025 and setting up our 2026.
Yes, this is going to be your end of year review for your money. So, talking about all the things that went on that were either good, bad, maybe need improvement, or things that are good and you want to keep continuing to do that you did in 2025 going into 2026.
Yeah, and we do this every year. So you can listen to this episode, you can listen to last year's episode, you can listen to the one before that. We are going to say almost the same thing because what you should be doing to reflect at the end of every year is not going to change from year to year.
I mean, some things can change as far as what you were trying to accomplish, as far as goals and see how that goes. And you'll also be in a
but what
different
you're
financial place.
assessing,
Yeah, a lot of
sure,
things that you're assessing are going to be the same, but you could also be adding some new things to
sure.
that you're going to look back on.
Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is the foundational items are not going to change, right? Like how much did you spend? How much did you save? How much did you invest? What did your investments do? What would you like to do more of next year? What do you want to do less of? I mean, those are the foundational things that I
Yes.
think of,
I would
right?
say there would be a common theme year to year as far as
Yeah.
things that you're keeping an eye on and looking back on and seeing how you did.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. Where do we start?
Well, the first thing you obviously want to do is you want to do a look back on your income. I think one of the biggest things you need to keep track of is how much money you had coming for the year. And is there a possibility of you maybe increasing that going into the new year? I think all of us would like to make more money if possible, to depending on what it entails. But the
Mhm.
idea here is that one of the things you really want to focus on too is, especially in the age range that we're at right now, is maximizing your income, because all the bonuses and everything that you have are going to be based off of your income. So the higher your income is, those percentages is just going to increase even more.
Yep. One thing that I'm doing to hopefully increase my income is I just wrapped up a PMP boot camp. We are going to do a separate episode on that because I think it's worth talking about. But the PMP, the professional project management certification. Wow. See, that boot camp has taken me out. I'm tired. Um, it's one of those certifications that really people are looking for. And so going into the next year, I'm always thinking about what skills do I want to enhance? What do I want to be working on? I've kept saying it. I've got like 10 good years of corporate in me. Y'all got me for 10 more years. You get me for another decade and then I'm out. Like that is my goal. So, I'm doing things now to think about how I can increase my income. And fun fact, as we reflect on this year, a PMP term, which I'm sure lots of people use in their business, is called a retrospective.
Learning not new things.
Ah, okay. All right. We can keep going.
But the idea here is that, like I said, you're looking on the income that you had coming in, and in relation to some of your goals, do you think maybe you need more money? Now, one of the things
Yes.
here is in the reflection is that
Always yes.
one of the things here too is that, going into the new year, is there possibly anything that's going to change in regards to your income?
Mm,
For example, we've had episodes where maybe you're getting ready to welcome a new baby, and we've decided that maybe one of the parents is going to be a stay-at-home parent,
mm.
and that's going to make a change in your income. So these are the things that you want to reflect on and think about and make a plan as far as what did we do well, what are some things that we can improve on, and put a plan in place moving forward into the new year with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Daycare, maybe you had a child that was at home and now they're gonna be going to daycare. Are you moving in an elderly parent? I mean, so many things. And even,
Well,
hey.
that's just the income. So the next part would be the
Oh, yeah.
expenses.
Okay, okay.
So what you were
Ooh,
talking about, you were moving right into the next part as
I
far
know, because
as
that's all we do is expend, like, the money just goes out.
you want to do a spending breakdown of what you spent last year and what you spent it on. Now, one of the easiest ways to do that is by using a type of budgeting software such as Monarch Money. All right.
Shout out to Monarch.
It makes it so easy for you because what it allows you to do is that you're allowed to use their account aggregator, which means that you can connect all your various accounts, your bank accounts, your investment accounts, your credit card, all those things, and you can see all that information in one place. And then it tracks your spending over time. So all you literally have to do is, hop into the software and it'll show you month by month, how much income you had coming in, how much expenses, and then the breakdown of where the income was coming from if you have multiple streams of income, but then it also shows you different expense categories as well. So the biggest thing you want to do here is you want to take a look at between your lifestyle spending versus your fixed costs, things that you need to have, your rent, mortgage, utilities, food, stuff of that nature, and how much did that, equate to over the course of the past year in relation to your lifestyle spending, things that are maybe a little bit more on the one side. Because the
Mhm.
biggest thing we want to see here is that are we spending too much? Is there something we can do better in regards to reducing some of our frivolous spending where it can actually be more beneficial to allocate that towards maybe your emergency fund or your investment accounts?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I like to offset all of the mundane spending on all of the things that we have to spend money on with the fun things, which are planning for trips.
Yes.
So those are things that you want to work in and budget for as well as you're planning for what next year can look like.
Yeah, because this is all about seeing, how the past year you've done and are there any changes you can make to improve going into the new year? Because we're all about improving and, this is not to shame anybody in regards to like if you look at your 2025 and you haven't done a lot of the things that you wish you would have done, this is an opportunity for you to have some reflection and retrospect. And like I said, see the errors of where they occurred and put a plan in place so that you can do better going to the new year.
Yeah, but the most important thing is here, and I think this is a common theme, not only with your clients, but even the friends that I talk to about their finances. It's the visibility.
Yes.
You can't measure what you don't manage, right? And if money's just going out, you have no idea where it's going. You're a high earner, and we've had this whole episode, right? You're a high earner and you still feel broke or you still feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck. Where is your money going? And when you actually start tracking it, you will find, oh, I actually do eat out way more than I thought, or ooh, that Amazon cart, maybe I didn't need to hit, add to cart on that. And we all do it. I mean, there are definitely times where those Amazon boxes are come into the house, and a lot of times it is stuff for the kids or for the house. But even then,
It starts to add up.
did I need it? Could I have gotten it from a thrift store? Things like that. And so it adds up quickly. And if you're not looking at it, if you do not have the visibility, you're never going to get a handle on your finances. And that's just the bottom line. And if you're scared to look at it,
That's an even bigger problem.
that's a whole nother episode. And we've done that episode as well.
Yeah, the key part is here is having a system in place.
Mhm.
And utilizing technology is going to be the easiest way to be able to have that visibility and accountability of where your money is going, while also not wasting so much time on doing it. Because,
I
like,
set up our let me just interject. I set up our Monarch in bed one night in 15 minutes. It
yeah,
was probably less than 15 minutes because you already have all the apps on your phone, right?
hmm
It wasn't even like I had to go get my wallet and type in. No, it was literally like, where do you bank? Okay, JP Morgan. Okay, where's your savings? Okay, here. Okay, where's your 401k? I mean, you already have the apps on your phone. Like, did you have to do a little authentication and all the security stuff? Yes, but 15 minutes, y'all, and every place that we have money, boom, it's there. It's on a beautiful dashboard. You
and it
can
goes
see it.
back several months. So it's not just like,
Yeah.
oh, you set it up today and it's only taking transactions from today moving forward. I think it
I
goes
think
back at least a year.
it's pretty significant. And then, you can add in your home value. That'll make, everything look a little better. Because at one point I was like, what's happening? And then I added in our home value and I was like, oh,
Yeah, you put our mortgage in, but not the actual
yeah,
value
I
of our
only
home.
put in the expense, but not that it's also an asset. So anyway, so for those of you, I'm thinking like the busy moms, right, who are like, I'm gonna be the one who has to do this. It will not take long. When you're sitting in the car line waiting for the kids, do 5 accounts. Like when you're at the dentist waiting for the kids, do 5 more accounts. Like make it a priority to get this visibility because it really is a game changer.
Oh yeah. So with that, like I said, we'll link it in the show notes. We have a
Referral code.
there we go, a referral code that'll get you 50% off for your first year.
Yeah, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. And once you see it and you're like, "Oh, this is so nice," and then having the money meetings, having the conversations with your partner is much easier because you can just pull up the app or you can pull it up on your computer and you're looking at the same thing. You're working off of the same document, you
I
know?
mean, like literally, it puts there and easy for you to see income for the month. It shows you how much income you came in, and this nice thing is that it's after tax, and then you have expenses for the month. Did you have more income come in than expenses? Makes your life a lot easier.
Mhm.
But moving into the next category, this is where you want to also do a debt check-in. So any debts that you have, you want to check on the progress that you're making towards paying that off. Whether that's student loan, personal loan, car loan, credit card debt, anything of that nature. You want to take a look at, one, how has those payments been going over the past year? Is there any additional money that you could actually allocate towards paying off some of those debts sooner going to the new year? And you want to put a plan in place. I think we've had episodes in the past talking about how there are debt calculators out there that you could put in the balance of your debt, the interest rate on that debt, and your payments, and it'll show you exactly when you would actually pay that off. And then you can also add on there, like if you were to add an additional $50 or so to the debt that you were paying as far as the minimum, it'll show you how much faster you would actually pay that debt off. And I think that's a really big part in having an end goal to these debts. So any debts that you have, using a calculator to know that, hey, if I'm paying this amount, this is when it's going to be done. That's going to also help with that motivation aspect.
Again, that's visibility, right?
Once
That's
again, yeah.
understanding where do I have these debts and what's my plan? So, if you're new to the show, welcome. We are not debt free. That's not our goal. That's never something that we've claimed. We have a mortgage, we have car payments, we have a credit card that has a balance that has a 0%. Like those being debt free is not something that we are about. But we talk about our debts, we have a plan for our debts, we reassess our debts, and we try to use debt strategically, right? And so avoiding it is not the answer.
Not never.
Making a plan and again, understanding the amount of people who don't know the interest on their credit cards. That's a problem. If you have little balances here and there and you're thinking, well, it's not that much, it's only 500, it's only 400, it's only
But if you're paying
1,000.
30% interest on it,
Ooh, especially all those store credit cards. Please go and look at, we don't have any store credit cards, but those store credit cards, I'm looking at, the Kohl's, the Old Navies, the Victoria's Secrets. Those things are going to be pushing 30+%. So if you are carrying a balance on there, this is why you're going to be paying month over month. And you're like, wait, I keep paying on it, but I can't pay it off. This is why.
yeah, and that debt calculator will help you know exactly if you're paying this amount, how quickly that would pay that off. And it allows you to see if you were to just add a little bit more, how much sooner that debt could be eliminated.
Yeah, exactly. So visibility is key. You can't manage and measure what you can't manage, whatever the saying is. I need more coffee. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. If you don't look at it, if you are not aware, it's not going to go anywhere and
Yeah.
you can't make a plan. So you have to have visibility first and foremost.
All right. So after that, moving into savings and investments. You want to look back over the course of the past year. What was your overall savings rate? And by that, I mean, how much did you save percentage wise of your income for the given year? So that can be money that's going to be going into, your 401k plan, emergency fund, other investment accounts. You want to you want to get an idea of what that was. And once again, with Monarch Money, it can help you really easy keep track of that. Now, if you don't have a fully funded emergency fund, how close are you to funding that? You know, and that simply could be a math breakdown. If you have a certain amount and you're trying to hit a goal, you're contributing a certain amount each month. you should be able to know exactly how many months it would take for you to get there. Now, as far as taking a look at, your 401k plan, did you max out your 401k plan? If you didn't, do you think that there's a possibility for you to do that going into 2020, 2026? Were there any, contributions to a Roth IRA, a traditional IRA, or just another type of brokerage account? Also including your 529 plans, UTMA accounts for your kids. How much were you putting to these accounts? How successful were you? And the idea here is you want to set a goal moving forward as well.
I think one key call out here for both savings and investing is to automate. And we've said this on every other episode. I would not be a natural saver. I would not consider myself a saver. I have to automate everything. And I am so grateful when I look at, my Roth balance, my 401k balance. I am always so glad that that is automated because otherwise it would be at zero. But it's not because it automatically goes in there. And that is how you build wealth. That is how you build your emergency fund. Can I tell the really funny story about
Wait,
our
wait,
emergency fund?
real quick for what you were just saying about the automation. For some people out there who are self-employed and you get fluctuations from month to month
Mm.
with how much you have coming in, I understand that it makes it very hard to automate everything. Well, what you can do from a saving standpoint is that you can automate lower.
The minimum. Yeah.
So, for example, well, what I'm saying is from a saving standpoint, if you're contributing to an IRA,
Hmm.
if you know that you can contribute, $400 comfortably, $100, then maybe you lower to $200 as the automation, and you do have to have the discipline that if you have a month that's fine, then you could put that additional amount in. Because, like I said, I've worked with people who have that fluctuation, and then they feel a little, worried about doing that automation.
Right. Okay. So Brandon and I have little money meetings all the time. We need to have a dedicated one, which I know we're planning for. But because we talk about money all the time and we're weird like that, we'll just be in the car driving and whoever's not driving will pull up whatever account and we'll be looking at stuff and, we'll just like reassess something really quickly. So I don't remember where we were going, but we were looking at one of our savings accounts. And do you remember? You know what story I'm talking about?
I'll see if you keep going.
I was like, well, I think there's this amount of money in there. And you were like, actually, it's this amount of money. And it was $18,000 higher than it should have been. And I was like, oh my gosh, we've been doing so well with like our automations. I was like, $18,000, that's incredible. So we ended up doing some digging. Y'all, why did Brandon's mama transfer money into our savings account? I think that was our ally account.
Yeah, so like my mom had like our ally account as one of her like
And I don't know
saved.
why. I
Well,
still don't understand why.
because of something in regards to sending money to me or something on our nature, which is why she had it saved, and she didn't properly label them as our ally savings
Hashtag
account
boomer.
versus hers, and so she went ahead and thought she was transferring the money to herself and transferred it into our account.
So we had this extra
And
$18,000
I'm like, yeah,
sitting there.
I'm like, I know that like I can, just like anybody else, sometimes you have little errors where you didn't necessarily keep track of things as close as you would like to. Happens to all of us, even me and Jess. But I was like, there's no way I missed that. Like,
Right. I was like, oh, you've been doing really well with like putting money aside. And so anyways, that was we had like a super high and then like a low afterwards when we were like, oh, well, let's deduct that $18,000. I did say, though, if she makes that mistake again, that money's ours. Like you need to unlink, label, whatever you need to do, because the next time it hits our account, I'm moving it right back out into a different account and it's ours. But again,
anyways.
you have to assess things and you have to reevaluate and
Yeah.
figure things out on a regular basis.
So after taking a look at your savings and investments, you want to honestly reflect on some of your money wins and the lessons that you learned over the past year. I think too often we're always worried about the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't sometimes take a moment to enjoy those small wins or successes that we have. And I think that's really important, especially when it comes to your finances, because you're not going to always have them. You're going to have things that happen. No matter how much you plan, there are going to be things that you didn't account for happening. So definitely, enjoy those ones that you've had. And then also, as far as out of the things that went right, what are some of the things that maybe didn't go as well as you would like? What are some of the habits or decisions that, over the past year that held you back?
Mhm.
What could what were those and how could you potentially avoid them?
I think what you said about celebrating, oh, the wins, even if they feel small, right? Instead of saying, "Well, I only saved X amount of dollars," change that to, "I was able to save X amount of dollars." Like, even if you didn't hit a goal, maybe you hadn't even set a goal, anything saved is better than nothing
Oh,
saved, right?
100%.
If you invested, if you got your 401k match at work, if you, um, opened a 529 plan for one of your children or your children, like those are important and incremental steps to building wealth, to building your portfolio, to being financially responsible. Celebrate those things, like I mean, know better, do better. You can't do it all at once. So make sure that you give yourself some grace and that you celebrate and pat yourself on the back for doing the
You
things.
took action.
You took action, and that's so
So many
important.
people avoid that first step of taking action. So just
Exactly.
simply taking that first step of actually doing something is huge because the majority of people don't even do that.
Yeah. So don't focus on what you didn't do. Celebrate what you did
Well,
accomplish.
we do want to take account of what we didn't
Yes.
do, but
Yes.
we don't want to dwell
We're
on
not
it.
going to dwell. Yeah. We're not going to let that
Yeah,
derail
you're
us from
gonna
moving forward.
realize that there's things that you didn't do,
Hmm.
and then move on.
Correct.
All right.
Yep.
So with that, as far as the 2025 look back, now we're going to move into the forecasting forward. You do want to prep for the new year coming up. So first thing I always say, everything starts with is what are your actual goals? So you
Hmm.
do need to set your goals for 2026 as far as what you want to accomplish, because everything from a planning standpoint is going to be based on your individual goals and what you as an individual want to accomplish for that year.
Yeah. You as an individual, and if you're in a partnership, as a team or a couple.
Yeah, definitely, because you're going to have your individual goals
Yep.
and you want to have your group goals. So, if you didn't quite make as much as you wanted to last year from an income standpoint, what is your goal for 2026? What are you going to do to help, increase that amount of money that you have coming in? If you didn't quite save as much as you wanted to or invest as much as you wanted to, what changes are you going to make? Like, are you going to maybe, for example, like the last year, maybe you weren't an automator. Maybe this year you want to go ahead and automate your savings so that you ensure that it happens. Automate your investing into, certain accounts.
Yep.
If you were, had debt that you didn't quite pay off and you didn't use that debt calculator, maybe use that debt calculator now to know, hey, if I'm paying this amount, then I know that I'll pay it off by this date. Or if I had a little extra bit more, I could pay it off sooner. So this is what you want to do. You want to set these new financial goals going into 2026.
Yep. Absolutely. And one thing that we've talked about previously too is look at what your employer allows. Most of us get a direct deposit paycheck, but a lot of times you can have multiple accounts that money goes into. So even if you set up a savings account to link to your direct deposit, you can have $20 out of your paycheck go into that savings account. High yield, please, high yield savings account. But again, if you don't see it, you're probably not going to miss it. So again, know who you are as a person. And if you know that you're going to pay yourself last, try to flip that. Pay yourself first. Remember, that's what the wealthy do. They pay themselves first in their savings and their investments. Um, and do that. Figure out a way to do that. Even if it's $20. $20 is better than $0.
Yeah, and also at this point in time, it's also with the whole new goal setting for 2026, is also seeing if you need to make some changes to your mindset.
Mm,
Because a lot of this stuff really starts with your mindset. How do you actually view your finances? Is that a positive relationship, a negative relationship, or just an avoidance in general? Because everything when it comes to having the proper outcome that you would want to have really starts with your mindset. So if maybe you weren't in quite the right mindset in 2025, maybe what are some of the things that you need to do and to change that for 2026? We have a dream framework that really helps out with having those conversations from a mindset standpoint with your partner.
yes. And I mean, this is not a financial goal, but that's a big goal for us is we really want to start building community around dream because we know it's a powerful framework. We know it works. And we want to make sure that we are helping and empowering other people to have better money conversations, to have table conversations around finances and goals and what's working, what's not, and just to make it a normal conversation, right? Especially for those of us who have kids, normalizing the conversation so that they're learning through osmosis. Ooh, that is another PMP term, osmostic communication.
Oh.
And it's literally like absorbing things in your environment by just like listening. It's like ear hustling
That's what I used to tell my teachers when I was in high school and I would sleep in class.
that you're
I'm
osmostic
I'm
communication.
learning. I didn't use that word specifically. I use
You should
I knew
have. That
I
would
knew
have
the
been
word
like,
osmosis from science. So I was like,
yeah.
I'm absorbing it via osmosis.
Well, and we say it jokingly, right? But like literally osmostic communication.
Now these were classes that I
Boom.
was getting A's in that I was falling asleep in.
Yeah.
I was a good student still.
Okay. um, okay, let's keep going.
So obviously, with setting the new goals, you also want to do a budget reset if that's necessary. All
Mhm.
right. So
Especially with these prices, everybody needs to be doing a budget reset
yes,
because
that's exactly where I was going to lead to that. Especially with inflation, cost of everything just increasing. Like you
our
said,
healthcare premiums went up 17%. If you didn't listen to that episode, you can go listen to that one.
it's honestly like you're
Whew.
just going to have to do a complete budget reset because you're going to have to take a look at, like I said, even if you hit your budget last year, as far as everything that you were doing, you do want to do a reassessment and make sure that with the increased cost of things, does that budget still work? Are there going to be any adjustments that you need to make so that you are successful in 2026?
Yeah.
That's always just a good thing to be aware of. Even the wealthy are aware. Like you think like, oh, they have a lot of money, they're not thinking about it. No, they know where their money's going because one of the reasons why they became wealthy and they stay wealthy, they know where their money is going.
They track it, they look at it, they assess it, then they make changes to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Also, sorry, were you gonna say something?
Nope.
I was saying, also with looking forward, we're coming to the year end for 2025. Also, you gotta do some tax prep.
Ugh.
It's not fun. My little sidebar rant is I don't understand if you're a W-2 employee, why you have to file taxes to the government. If you know how much I owe you, just tell me.
Just
Just tell
tell
me.
me.
But anyways, you do have to do some tax prep. So making sure that one, are you going to do your taxes yourself? Because if not, you better get somebody, establish a relationship with them because all the CPAs and enrolled agents and everything like that, they're busy now.
Mhm.
So make sure you do a plan for that. Also make sure that you start to gather all the necessary tax documents that you have. So outside of just, if you're a W-2 employee, outside of that, making sure that if you have any type of investment accounts that require any type of tax documentation with that, making sure that you have all that ready to go as well.
Yeah, be organized.
Yeah,
Get
because
organized, be organized. Like find a folder, write taxes 2025 and put all the receipts in there.
and I always say to people that if you're one of those people that you don't like doing it, just have somebody else do it. Build that into your budget.
Do you know anybody who likes doing their taxes
There are some weird people out there.
besides actual CPAs?
I've come across some analytical people like to, be on top
That's
and do their own
weird.
taxes, but
That's crazy.
hey,
Okay.
I don't yuck anybody else's yum when it comes
Mm.
to
Next, we're gonna audit subscriptions and expenses.
yes. So biggest thing here is that you want to eliminate any waste. Was there something that that you thought you were using in 2025, but it turns out you weren't using? Get rid of it because that money could be better utilized someplace else. And I'm not even necessarily saying that money could be better utilized going into savings or an investment account. It could be better utilized on a lifestyle purchase that you'll actually use.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's especially if you're in a partnership. Like, hey, are we both accidentally paying for Spotify? Are we both like Brandon and I have been talking about this for months. I'm just going to out us right here. We both are paying for a Canva subscription, y'all. That does not make sense.
Yeah.
First of all, our Canva's stuff should be together because we're using it for the podcast. So like, we are literally. It's dumb. We need to do our own audit because we've been saying it. We are aware of it. Now we need to actually like figure out, does it make sense for him to keep his and me move my stuff? Like
Like
we
I
need to
said,
just figure it out.
Nobody's perfect.
No.
We all have things that we can improve upon.
Absolutely. Y'all will never hear us say that we are perfect.
No.
That does not exist. That's
I don't aspire to be perfect either. So
no. But like that's the stuff that, why are we paying for this subscription and that subscription? When was the last time you watched something on Apple TV? If you're not watching something on there, cancel it. Like
Yeah.
you can always resubscribe. get rid of those subscriptions.
You
And
can also
actually,
sometimes
like,
renegotiate some of these subscriptions. Like
right.
I know, there's several times where like you go to cancel something, like, oh, well, we'll give it to you for half off now.
XM
Like
is
who uses SiriusXM
a
anymore?
lot of people. They listen, if you tell them that you can't afford it and you want to cancel, you will walk out of there with a $2.99 monthly subscription.
That's funny though, because with the SiriusXM little sidebar, my dad was talking about how he thinks that they charge him more because he has a Mercedes in comparison to his partner he's been with for a long time, Kelly, who has a Kia.
Oh, well, that could be part of that dynamic pricing that is starting
He
to
was like, I swear, like he's
happen.
like the pricing that she gets, I never
Well, he
get.
needs to call.
He said he has.
Well, he's gonna get a new car soon, so let's see what his pricing is then. Yeah, so listen, know what your subscriptions are, know what your reoccurring payments are, figure out what you need, what you don't need, what are you using, what are you not using, and you'd be surprised. I mean, I'm not saying, it's gonna make you a millionaire, but you could put easily $100 back in your pocket a month.
Yeah.
So,
Like I said, I will take that all day. I personally very much dislike wasting money. So like sometimes if I do something where like it ends up wasting money, I'm like, oh, even if it's not a lot, that's
yeah.
like, I don't know, just something that irks me about myself sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it took me far too long to cancel my gym membership when I literally was like barely able to move or walk around the block. I was clearly not going to the gym, and in my head, I was like, "Oh, it's what was it, $25?" But that's $25 wasted, and life is expensive, and we do not have the money to waste. So,
Yeah. So last thing as far as the prepping and looking forward for 2026 is plan your automations. We kind of, touched on that when it comes to some aspects of the new goals. But anything that you can automate, it just makes your life so much easier because it really helps you reduce decision fatigue. Like we have so many decisions on a daily basis that we have to make. So if there's anything that you can do to reduce that, it's going to yield a much better outcome overall.
yeah, it's also going to help mitigate risk, another PMP situation, which is, oh, I forgot to pay that bill. Ooh, that bill slipped underneath the car seat and, I forgot to pay it. Or now you have a late payment. Now you need to call somebody to try to get the late payment. I mean, it's just like that constant revolving door. If you can automate it, automate
Yeah, I
it.
don't think there's a single bill that we have that's not automated. I know, I like other ones that I pay.
Yes, our trash and recycling.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what's funny? I just paid it yesterday. I paid that on Cash App. Isn't that weird?
Oh, interesting.
Mhm. Cash App. He takes Cash App, Venmo. I don't even know
But that one can't be automated, can it?
I don't know if you can automate things on Cash App.
Yeah, okay. So like everything that we can everything that we can automate, we have that automated from a bill
Yes,
standpoint.
that is the only one. And then aside from like medical bills that come in or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, everything else. And, you know, this is not a credit card points and miles conversation today, but the bills that we can put on our credit cards, we do. Because if I'm gonna have to pay that bill anyways, I might as well get something for it. And I put it on that Capital One Venture card, 2 times the points, and we use those points for what we like best, which is travel. So again, we try to maximize. You're going to spend the money anyway, so get your points and miles if you can, you know?
All right. So now that you've kind of taken a look in regards to forecasting forward as far as what you want to do going into the new year, what are some of like, the tips and tools that you can actually utilize to make it easier for you in the new year? So, like we said, one of the things that we've talked about through this episode numerous times is Monarch Money, as far as using a budgeting tool that provides a lot more visibility for, especially if you're married in a partnership, provides a visibility that often can sometimes be lacking when it comes to merging finances.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll again put that link in the show notes. One thing that I love that we do, and even then, that's something you have to update, you have to look at it, you have to keep it current. But organizing our financial documents, right,
Hmm.
and we have shared Google documents that we have, and that the people in our life that need to have access to, and it it's easy to update, it's easy to share,
Yeah.
and I feel so much better knowing that we both have access to our important documents
So,
in an
like,
easy to access manner.
yeah, so to make it easy for people, like, we have a Google Doc that has, like, where are our bank accounts? How many do we have at that given bank? Where are our investment accounts? How many accounts do we have? Our life insurance, where it's at. Everything from a financial standpoint has all that information. So, God forbid something happens to the both of us, the people that would need that information have access to it. Even have linked there is a digital copy of our will and trust, so that they have that access to information, and it makes it so much easier. God forbid that happens in that terrible time period, having to deal with trying to find all this stuff. We have it very much easily organized, and we update it, and it automatically sends out in regards to the Google Doc.
Yeah. And I've been updating the portion of our Google Doc of like, it's from our When I Die guide, which we'll go ahead and link it. It's a 17-page guide that we put together of these important documents that you definitely want to look at them at least once a year. I would say twice because things change, frequently. But I've started adding things just, when I'm thinking about it. I added, what picture I would want used for my obituary. I
Yeah,
put,
you start to
we're
find these things.
weirdos.
Well, you start to, but the thing is, unfortunately, we're at the age where you have friends that go through all these various things,
Yeah.
and these
I
things come
have
up that I wouldn't have thought of because I've never experienced them. But then we have someone that we know who has, and they bring them up.
I have a quote that I would like.
I haven't done any of that.
That's okay. I put what I want the menu to be. I put what I want people to wear.
That's the difference
I
between me and her. Like,
I
that's a
put what kind
lot.
of music I want played. Early
Oh,
2000s, obviously. Yeah, I just listen. I want my people
uh,
to be able to grieve me if something happens. And I don't want you to think about, well, what would Jessica want? You know what I want? It's right here on this document in literal black and white. Like it literally says, like, I want my favorite food, Mexican, sushi, pizza, charcuterie. I'm spelling it out. And I don't sit there and spend a ton of time, but like in the event that I have a few extra minutes or a flight is delayed or whatever, I'll just pop into that document and I'll be like, "Ooh, I forgot about this." Or if I see a quote that I really like, I'm like, "Oh, that would be beautiful at my funeral. Let me put that in there."
okay.
I know I'm a weirdo.
Moving on.
Moving on, moving right along.
Also too, if you have not, in 2025, if you did not do, your quarterly, maybe money dates, your money meetings with your partner, go ahead and schedule those. I would go ahead and get them on the calendar before, because I think it's also easier to
Mm,
reschedule something than it is to initially schedule something.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Um, so honestly, that's, kind of all the things that you need to really kind of think about from an overview standpoint when it comes to the 2025 review, and then planning for an even more successful 2026.
I mean, that was a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like we gave y'all a lot. So let's do a quick recap. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to look back. This is that retrospective. Okay. We're going to drop some PMP terms. You're going to look at your income. You're going to look at your spending. You're going to look at where you are in your debt and make a plan. You're going to use that calculator so that you can have a plan for how you're going to pay that debt off. You're going to look at your savings and investments. You're going to make sure that that emergency fund is growing, that your retirement and brokerage accounts are being contributed to, that you're getting your employer match, etc. And then you're going to reflect on your money wins and your lessons learned, because we want to, and actually, lessons learned is another PMP thing. You don't go into a project ever without lessons learned from previous projects because it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like why start from scratch? Then you're going to look at next year. You're going to look forward. So you're going to set those financial goals. What do you want to accomplish in 2026? You're going to do a budget reset. Life is more expensive. The budget that you had in 2025, if you had one, is not going to work in 2026. So you need to reassess. You're going to look at that tax prep. If you don't want to do it, go ahead and get on somebody's list so that they can do it for you, because we don't want to be late. We're going to audit those subscriptions and those expenses. We're going to eliminate waste. That's a Lean Six Sigma term. We're going to renegotiate and upgrade some of our bills, some of our essentials. And then we're going to plan for automation. So automate, automate, automate. That is the name of the game. And then last but not least, we are going to use the tools that are available to us, like account aggregators like Monarch. We're going to get organized. We're going to use, maybe Google Docs, Dropbox, whatever works for you to get those important documents in place for you and your family. And you're going to schedule those quarterly money dates. And if you're not in a partnership, you can have a money meeting by
Yeah.
yourself. Just to be very clear, we're not just doing them if we're in a partnership. You
Yes.
need to be
Schedule.
having your own money date if you are solo
Yeah.
dolo.
Schedule
Okay.
those reviews. Put them on the calendar. Also, like I said, we've mentioned that with those reviews, if you haven't, go ahead and find some form of an account aggregator. We recommend Monarch. There are other ones out there, but we find that Monarch, I think, is often a little bit better than the other ones
Yeah. If you
and much
used to
easier to
use
use.
Mint, you will like Monarch.
Yeah. So I, find some form of management when it comes to that stuff and set those dates as far as to do the reviews.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, friends, we are wrapping up 2025, heading into 2026. Hopefully, this has helped you. Share it with a friend. Let us know what you're going to be implementing. We are happy to be your accountability partners. And I don't know why we didn't say this, but if you know that you need support in 2026 because you need your hand held, you need the education, you just know that you cannot do it on your own, guess what? Brandon can help you. Hello. We're really bad at
Yeah.
saying that. But at the very end
I
of
can
this
help.
episode, Brandon can help you. He can hold your hand. He can help educate you. He can look at those accounts. He can help you make the right decisions. He can make your budget work for you. He's not going to put you on a budget because that is not his job and you are a grown-ass adult. But he will help you look at your money so that you can make your money work for you. Okay? So, boom, we're out. Thanks for listening.
Sugar Daddy Podcast, yo. Learn how to make the